Who was that mixed with?
Isley Brothers.
Yeah.
The guy who made it from Atlanta.
That's a vibe right there.
We'll keep it here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All the vibes, man. What I've listened to. Oh yeah. You know, I just wanted to set the tone. You know, right now you're listening to J10 or Just 10 Pages.
Hey, look, I like how you got your hands on the mic, man.
You know, I'm about to spit a hot 16.
Put it on him.
I'll say that
16
for another
breaths.
Yeah, man, but I just wanted to start it off and, you know, make it a little bit cool.
Yeah.
You know, put y'all on a little bit of what I be listening to in my car.
Look, do you listen to this when you read? Do you listen to anything when you read?
I don't listen to anything while I read, man.
I can't focus when I'm trying to, I guess, digest something. I can't focus when other shit's going on. If I'm trying to really get into it, I gotta have like peace and quiet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let this ride out.
I say, but this right here it just give me relaxed to do whatever I feel like I need to do. I could actually, like I used to play football. This could be a pre-warm-up track. When I get to the game, like on the field and I'm running around, I need something that's gonna thump. But like this right here, it'll calm me down.
This is self-reflection.
Yeah,
man. This is the come down. That's what it is. This is the calm down.
I like it. Good vibe.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Just 10 Pages.
Welcome back, man.
You hear Wallace. This is Zikomo Langston, capital Z.
I like it, man. Stand on it.
Yeah, man. And this is another episode where we talk about books and shit.
Shit.
And you know, I like that. I like that word shit because, you know, it's the way I use it, it's a way to kind of uncomfortably get over your emotions and it's just shit, you know.
Just dive into it, huh?
Yeah.
It can be nasty sometimes.
It can be nasty sometimes, but it's you know, this is a space where I'm trying to create where we get a chance to talk about books, us expanding our mind, and also just sharing some things about life. Getting it all out on the table and having a good time doing it.
Yeah. Showing that it's okay to have these kind of conversations instead of harboring everything inside of us.
Exactly, man.
All of us got these thoughts and then we go and learn these concepts, but how does it apply to life? And I think this platform, Just 10 Pages, is an opportunity to show people that, it's value in reading, but then also going and talking about what you digested, as I keep using that term, and how it can look like when you go through your day-to-day instead of just some theoretical thing on the wall that you think you know.
Yeah, exactly, man. So just to kick things off, man, how you been? How was your week?
This week has been good, man. Overall, I think I got a concussion last week.
Concussion doing what?
I still play flag football.
Okay.
So I caught a post and I don't remember catching it. My head went to the ground, lost consciousness. I think I lost about 6-7 seconds. And I think I messed my knee up. I got I feel like some nerve damage. So I'm going to the hospital on Monday.
Oh my God, man.
You asked, bro. You asked.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. But actually, I feel good. I want to figure out what's going on with my knee. But this week was challenging but insightful at work. And then just excited to get here with you today. Yeah. I've been looking forward to it.
And you know what else he's not telling you about? So yesterday, me and Wallace, we went out, we played golf.
Yeah.
And he showed me a whole YouTube video of him just showing the young boys that they can't hang with him. So the mic that I'm speaking on now, he won some money schooling these young kids playing football.
Yeah.
He took a little bit of his earnings to drop it on these mics. But tell them about that.
Shout out Destroying, man. I know everybody on YouTube has heard as the guy Destroying went to UCF as a kicker, and had to make a decision to either continue on his professional career or trying to be a kicker and go to the league, or develop his YouTube channel. He decided to develop his YouTube channel, which made CNN news. It was big time. And since then, that was probably like 4 years ago. Since then, he's probably got 4 or 5 million followers. And now he goes around and does these one-on-one challenges for 10 grand. And I was like, well, I can use 10 grand. Who cares?
We all can, right? Yeah.
So my partners put it on in our little group chat on Saturday. And I was like, I'll go. So popped up on Sunday, and I made it to the end, and it ended up being like 11 receivers. So we split that 10 grand amongst ourselves. So I made a little cash, and I was like, let me bring it home for the home team, man.
Man, y'all should have seen him. He was cutting them boys up, man. He was cutting them up. Wallace, we 32, I'm 33, but 32-year-old man, he's still showing out, man. Yeah. He being modest right now.
Hey, man, like riding a bike, man.
Yeah, man. But man, my week.
Yeah, let me do it. How was your week, sir?
Oh, thank you, sir. My week, it's been filled with a lot of ups and downs, man. Wow, man. So the beginning of the week, of last week, I had some car issues.
Yeah.
Found out that my car wasn't cutting on. Had to go to, the shop to go and get this AC compressor. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is, but it just controls your car's, coolant.
Right.
It keeps the engine cool, which keeps your car running, of course, but also it keeps your car, cool or heated or whatnot. And that had failed on me. So I didn't have a car for a short period of time, and then I've just been flooded with just a lot of memories. And I think it's started because of the books that I've been reading. It's just been creating a whole lot of questions, just in my life, and it's making me be a lot more self-reflective, and
it's a good space to be in.
That is a good space to be in. And that's kind of why I wanted to start off the day with the music that I did, because it's just been a real self-reflecting place that I've been in right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to kind of transition into, the book that was the book of the month, which is Winning. And to keep it a buck with you guys, I'm not going to lie. I respect the author. I respect the book. And I know to do anything good in life, it takes hard work.
Right.
So I can never disrespect, what, the hard work and the time that somebody put into something. But I will say the book Winning by Tim S. Grovers, it wasn't for me.
It wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me.
So let me ask you this. Why did you pick it in the first place?
I picked it in the first place because a good friend of mine's, or a friend of mine's, he recommended it. Mm-hmm. And he, people recommend what is speaking to them at that particular time.
Yeah.
And the book, he recommended it to me. It's like, man, I love it. I read like 3-4 chapters in a row, and it was speaking to him. So I'm like, man, I'm trying to get some of these revelations too.
Yeah.
So I got the book, and the basic premise behind the book is the guy who trained Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, Charles Barkley, I believe Chris Bosh. He discovered essentially what made them great.
Yeah.
He figured out what was the fuel behind their tenacity, their ambition. And what he came up with was 13 principles of winning. Yeah. And he doesn't list them as 13 throughout the book.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Each all one of them are one.
Yeah.
So it's like 13A all the way down to whatever letter 13 is.
No, it was one this, one that, one this. Yeah.
Exactly. And what I'll say, my expectations going into the book, and I think that's probably the issue when you're trying to get something out of something. It's you have these expectations on it.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard for you to really grasp maybe what that person or thing is trying to communicate to you.
You're looking for that big splash, and maybe it doesn't hit the way you anticipated it doing, and then that almost kind of lets you down. It's like almost going to watching a blockbuster movie, and you got it built up so high, and then you go in and you be like, oh, it was pretty good, but But if you had no expectations when you went in, you would have probably been excited about that movie.
Yes.
But with the expectations, you like, I'm all the way up here. You're like, it was all right.
Yeah. And I overhyped it. Maybe I overhyped it for myself. But he just kind of goes into the 13 principles of winning that he's noticed in the players that he's trained. And most notable, Michael Jordan.
And his life.
And his life. Yeah, exactly. And his life. But he talks about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, so on that level, it didn't really resonate to me because I was looking for some more depth. I was looking for him to be a little bit more self-reflective in winning, you know.
So what's something that, because I mean, we can say that, but what's something that he described that you wanted more from?
So I guess I understand that it takes a certain personality type to not only win, but consistently win. But I would love to know more about what's fueling the passion. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess
is that not for everybody to define for themselves though?
That's true. That's true. Because some people and I think multiple people might have this perception of winning, but there are people who are kind of born winning. They're born winners, or you know, you might not really see the hard work behind winning, and then you might not really understand the story behind why this person is winning. And I know you got a hell of a story, you know, in your book, Underrated,
right?
You know, where I know just consistently being overlooked fueled your passion and made you say, no, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
You know, being the underdog.
Right.
So I would like to hear more about how do we
tap into the fuel.
How do we tap into the fuel? How do we summon the energy, the warrior's mindset inside of us?
Yeah.
Outside of, you know, I don't know. To me, it was just a little bit surface.
Yeah, I agree. The first time that I went through it, and I went through it 1.5 times. I'm halfway through it the second time. And the first time I went through, I kind of felt the same way you're describing. It's like, all right, great. Michael Jordan was different. Great. Kobe Bryant was different. Great. Y'all ate beef instead of what everybody else told you. Cool.
Exactly.
But like, what was the fire that made Kobe want to work out at 4:00 in the morning? Like,
exactly.
And how does that apply to a regular person? Because look, it's 1 out of 7 billion people on this planet that's Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. How does the normal average person that's trying to elevate reach to them? Because obviously they found that early on. So that was my thing. Like, you're telling us what they did, cool. But like, where's the root? How do we get to our root?
Yeah. How do I become Michael Jordan in my arena?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even if I'm starting late, because Mike found his root, I'm seemingly as a sophomore when he got cut in at high school and had to revamp himself to come back and be the starter he became. But how do I find that at 32 or at 25 or 22? I'm about to leave college. Like, how do I find that? Yeah. And I felt like that was left out. It was just like, these people are great and this is what great people did. But there's something that's different that's burning inside of those people because they found that space.
That I like that. You said 2 things that really stood out to me. How do you ignite the fire? Yeah. That's what we want to know. That's how we can all relate to this. And then he didn't. To me, I'm not going to say he didn't do it. I wasn't able to see how he was able to break down the wall and show how we're all the same. They're still separate to me.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is this, Kobe is this, and here I am over here.
Yeah.
How do we unite all of these people to show that, hey, you can do this in this way?
Everybody can be this definition of winning or this type of winning person.
Yeah.
How do we get to that? I don't think I got that. But what I will say is the second time going through, and I guess I was I was just like listening for content, but then the second time I've gone through, I've been listening for understanding in my personal life. It was good to reflect on some of the concepts that he brought up and how I either utilized or could have utilized them in my life. Like we passed the point of like, I got to find my lane, my purpose.
Yeah.
Now it's like, all right, when I was doing this, what could I have done better? next time it comes up in my life, am I going to be able to be aware to attack it like this, to attain the winning, I guess, situation that Tim is describing. So I kind of just took the responsibility off of him to find the core, the source, the fire, and just made it like, all right, cool. How can I use what he's talking about in my life? And I was able to kind of go back to when I was in college, when I went to the NFL and the CFL, in instances where I could have utilized the principle of selfishness. Like, there's one principle he talks about, just it's okay to be selfish, even though selfish has a negative connotation. Mm-hmm. But that selfishness will allow you to do things that will allow you to show up at 4:30 in the morning to the gym and work, and then go home and eat breakfast, and then come home and go back to the gym, and not really worried about somebody calling you and saying, hey, I need this, I need that. No, bro, I gotta handle this. Mm-hmm. Cause ain't no other stuff without me handling this. Yeah. And a lot of times people, like, I even had a situation, let's be honest. I had a situation where I was in Canada and I flew to Chicago to spend time with my girl. And the decision to go back to Canada was just to make practice. I'm a practice squad player. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but my girlfriend wanted me to stay and miss the early flight, which would have guaranteed me I got back in Canada in time to go to practice the next day. I missed that flight. Went for a 12 o'clock flight. Missed that flight because of how many people on the flight. Didn't leave to go to Minneapolis because I had to make a stop. I didn't get to Minneapolis till 10 o'clock at night. The flight from Minneapolis to Winnipeg was at 10:30. I ran through the airport trying to make this flight. Missed the flight. Airplane sitting right there. They closed the door. I'm stuck in Minneapolis overnight. Knowing that I missed that flight, I'm going to miss practice the next day, which might cancel and end the dream that I've had for the last 10 years. But that's me not being selfish for the purpose that I felt, the goal that I had set for myself, and letting somebody else's wants. I mean, of course, you want to help, you want to love and show the love to your family, but at the end of the day, you got to live with yourself. And I couldn't live with that decision. And that night, if you would have walked through Minneapolis airport, you would have seen a grown man underneath some seats crying, because I thought that was the end of my dream. Yeah. And that was me just not being selfish in my passion.
And did you what happened with the team?
Look, they didn't even care. I sent a long email to try to let the coaches know that I wasn't going to be there. But that just, to me, signifies a moment where I started to give other things and other people power over the space that I was in. Because in college, I was the guy that was like, bro, I got to work out at 5 a.m. I'm not worried about what y'all talking about tonight.
That's a real fear of letting other people down, telling people no, that you care about, that I need to do this. Yeah. And just contemplating that and just wondering how they will take it. Will the relationship be the same, or it may come across as I'm prioritizing this over you. What do they think about that? That can be a very that could create stress on its own. That could be a difficult thing to kind of battle with.
I agree, but looking at the book we read last month, the Way of the Superior Man. Yeah. They tell you that as a man, you need to put your purpose, your goals, that goes before anything. Oh yeah. Because when you have focus and you have direction, everything else will be able to follow and be on the train, and you'll be able to sustain those things. Mm-hmm. But if you lose your purpose, you lose your focus, then the things that jump on your back, you're going to begin to drop them, or you're going to begin to fall yourself. Mm. So that's something that I will take from this book, is like, it's okay to be selfish. You keep your caringness, your composure, your character, but at the same time, never forget and lead with your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, Wallace has said a lot, man. He said a whole lot. But I want to take it down a little bit and kind of rewind back and talk about our origin story. Yeah. How we got to winning to meet each other, Yeah. So I guess I'll kick it off. So me and Wallace, we both used to play soccer as a kid. Yeah. I played for a school called Imhotep Center of Education. Mm-hmm. And you played for what?
I played for Sandtown.
You played for Sandtown. I remember Shaquille. That's a very, I'll never forget him.
I bet you won't.
Yeah, I'll never forget Shaquille. But we both were, I don't know, I guess I was one of the captains on my team. I know you was one of the
captain on our team.
Captain on your team, and we were playing at the Welcome All Park. And I remember, I'll never forget the first time I met you. We were playing, and you didn't play offense, but you were kind of midfield, right?
Yeah.
You played midfield, so you were
on the field. They wanted everything to flow through me. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was just this kid that just, he was great at soccer. He was doing everything out there, and my team. I was playing midfield at the same time too. I wasn't as skilled as Wallace, but I was very athletic.
You
I was
were
very
a much
fast.
better athlete.
Yeah, I've always been athletic.
Yeah.
But at the end of that day, I think Sandtown came home with the win.
Yeah, I know.
What was the score? Do you remember?
I think it was like 2-1. It was real close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won that game.
Yeah.
But you know what?
We won Sandtown Recreation. We won.
Let me finish this story.
You got it.
So KD decided to come and join forces with Steph Curry in the game. After well, you beat us, but
we won the championship.
But KD came to join our team, So
I'm KD. Respect.
Yeah, you KD, you KD.
Yeah.
So Wallace, he joined our team. He actually came to Imhotep,
the school.
The school, and when the first day that he came to that school, I remember that game, the experience. I loved his competitive edge, because I didn't really see anybody else my age who was like willing to compete and fight like that. I just respected it. He earned my respect. And I remember the first day he came to the school and I saw him. At that time, Wallace had like a big old afro and braces.
Yeah. You can't forget those two.
and he came into the school that day, and in my mind I was like, man, that's gonna be my best friend. So I walked up to Wallace and I was like, yeah, man, what's up? And Wallace, he looked at me like he didn't know who I was. Kind of shrugged me off. I was like, damn, that was a shot to my ego.
Bad, dog.
Yeah, man, I don't think he knew, but I was like, dang, man, that, he really hit me. But ever since then, man, we've had this relationship where we just enjoy the battle. We enjoy the, just being on opposing forces and just, steel sharpening steel.
Right.
That's been our relationship, man. But yeah, what you got to say about it?
Nah, man. I think Zikomo is the person that ignited a fire that allowed me to do some of the great things that I did in my life athletically. And I mean, once you look deeper into how the things that I've learned in life stem from sports and life, period. Because like growing up, and we'll probably talk about my relationship with winning. Like I was always the winner. Like I was gonna win. I didn't care. I remember I was so mad when I lost, and we didn't even lose the game. I struck out. We was playing baseball. I struck out, and the team won the game. And I'm in the back of the truck crying because I couldn't help my team. So my mentality was like, I got to do everything I can to help my team win.
Yeah.
And when I met Zikomo, I had gained some momentum in winning with Sandtown. When I came over to Imhotep, he was the first person that could consistently beat me in a race, consistently beat me on the basketball court, consistently give me a challenge or beat me on a soccer field. Like I was pissed when I had to go against Zikomo, but it just drove me. We even developed a competition like who's gonna learn how to. Zikomo's left-footed. Who's gonna learn how to kick the ball with the opposite foot? First.
We did that?
Yes.
Oh wow.
I learned how to kick with my left foot because of the challenge of you.
Yeah.
We got into the season and we just challenged each other.
Yeah.
And I learned how to kick with my left, and you learn how to kick with your right. But that's the kind of energy that we were able to propel out of each other through the competition, through the challenge or trying to win against each other. So I carried that forever, from middle school to high school. And I wasn't even that great in high school when I stepped into a football field. But my mentality from learning from you is like, today ain't the end.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up tomorrow, and I'm going to show up tomorrow, and I'm going to show up tomorrow, and I'm going to try to win. We used to play, the basketball goals, we just leave the court and go to the monkey bars.
Oh, yeah.
And be shooting on the monkey bars.
Man, like me and Wallace, so Wallace, and I would never be on the same team.
Never.
If we're on the same team, it's not
over.
fun because we just know we're gonna beat everybody.
It's gonna destroy everybody.
Yeah. So the fun was you're on your team. I gotta beat you. You gotta beat me.
Exactly.
That's how we play, and we competed on everything. Like in video games, we like to debate.
that Olympic game.
Yeah. You know, in school, like on all levels, it's just. That's where I get my competitive edge from Wallace. And it got to a point to where like I've never had another friend like that. Like most of my other friends, they don't like competing outside of like sports. They don't like to compete like in everything. Yeah. You're the type of person, you like to compete at I love to compete at everything. That's just how my mind works, you know. But yeah, Wallace is, you know, one of the only people that kind of has, you know, that type of energy. And it's always, I don't know what it is about Wallace. Like when I get around Wallace, it's just like, he just brings something out of me. Even today, it's just that reminder. He just brings the best out of me, you know? So, you know, it's just been a great friendship.
Well, I'm going to say it's the same thing this way, brother.
Yeah.
I texted you the other week that just watching you in the last podcast, I'm going to develop as a better communicator, a better speaker, because I can watch how you internalize things and then regurgitate what you can spit out what you're thinking. I saw that in one episode. So like that's how we look at each other. It's the details, the little things. Like how can I get better against but with my brother?
But the key thing is there's no jealousy, there's
no animosity.
It's nothing. It's just all just joy, fun, and it's just we look at it how it can just build us, how it can continue to build us. But I would like to know. So like as a kid, what did winning mean to you then?
Winning,
like how would you define it then?
One of it was validation, and that's something that I needed and struggle with today. But it also became like this let me know I'm on the right path because of everything that it takes to win. So I could lose, mess up, get it wrong, and then when I win, it's like, all right, you moving in the right direction. And that's it's actually what it evolved throughout my playing careers, like, and now in my working careers, like, you're messing up, you keep pushing, you keep trying, it's not working, and then you win, you're like, I am moving in the right direction. It's just a reminder, like, what you're doing is helping you grow, even though it may not look as pretty as nice today and every day. Yeah. When you win, it's like, all right, cool, we moving forward, we progressing, we getting better.
Yeah, man, I've been just wrestling with that question for a little bit, but winning to me when I was growing up was acceptance amongst my peers. Yeah, that was a big part, and
huge for me too.
Yeah, that was a big part of me growing up, you know. So my background, like, my name is Zikomo and Kosi, you know. Langston. Yeah, that's my name, and you know, my parents, they blessed me with that name, and it takes a certain type of person to kind of wear that name. Yeah. You know, a certain amount of confidence to wear that. And, you know, growing up, I kind of didn't grow into it. Like when I was a kid, I was kind of like shy. I didn't want people to know that part of me because it was something different than everybody else. Right. You know, I have people, you know, mess it up. I remember Wallace called me this too. Now that I'm thinking about it, Wallace used to call me Zaboomafoo. You remember you used to call me that? Yeah.
I'm not even going to try. Zaboomafoo.
Yeah, Wallace, yeah, you on the hit list too, brother.
Whatever you want, dog.
But yeah, man. But growing up, man, people used to butcher my name, and that made me feel some type of way. So that was one part of my life that I kind of tried to hide. I used to cover it up, put makeup by, like, you know, oh, I'm Z, or you know, when I got in college, I'm Zico, or you know, or if they had another title that they wanted to give me, I would accept that it, because I wanted the road less traveled. I didn't want no friction, no type of resistance. Yeah, you know. So that was one thing. You know, I didn't grow up Christian. You know, a lot of my friends, family members, even amongst them, I had to hide certain things. Like, I didn't grow up Christian. I grew up studying, you know, African spirituality. Right. You know, I grew up in a community called Osero Society. and you know, we did things a little bit different. I would see people like on TV, they would be making fun of people like playing on a djembe and wearing like African garbs or wearing dashikis and kufis and things like that. So I just learned I don't want to be a part of that because that's not acceptable amongst my peer group.
Right.
You know, so I hid that aspect. I was a vegan, you know, growing up. And, you know, I didn't want people to go and pick and say, okay, what are you eating? You know, what's this? What's that? I didn't want the questions. I didn't want the heat.
Right.
You know, so a large part of my identity came from me trying to assimilate amongst my peers.
And winning was part of that? Trying to be a winner?
Well, I will say, yeah, winning was a part of that. So growing up, I loved playing basketball.
Yeah.
I picked it up because I remember. So at Imhotep, there was a guy who was older than me. He was in the next grade up. His name was Joshua Martin. Mm-hmm. That's Olajuwon's cousins.
Okay,
I didn't know them.
I didn't know he was his cousin. I remember him.
Yeah, they're related. Joshua, Jamil, Martin. Shout out to y'all if y'all watching. Olajuwon, Ajanaku. But
Eastside Golf, baby.
Yeah, Eastside Golf. But I started playing because I went to a tournament and I seen them playing and I believe they won.
Yeah.
And then around that time, I just seen how people responded to that. And then I was like, man, next year I want to do that. You know? So I joined the basketball team. And my idols back then was Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
You know, that was my idol. And I started thinking about it. I was like, why did I like Allen Iverson? Why didn't I gravitate more to Kobe?
And small guard. That's what I thought.
Nah, man, I think it's deeper than that. The reason why I gravitated more to Allen Iverson is because he represented the culture. He represented, you know, he dressed, you know, a certain type of way. You know, he wore the braids. Like, he was that nigga. I
wouldn't even expect that from you. Like, no, as kids, because of who we were, I would have thought you would have just been like, because he represents. Like, you were a smaller frame kid all the time. I thought that was like, this is an example of me being able to make it.
Nah, man, he represented.
I respect that.
He represented the cool.
Yeah,
that's what he represented. Kobe represented clean cut. He represented.
And look, that's crazy. That's what I wanted to be like Kobe. I had the fro because of Kobe.
I'm trying to get away from clean cut. I'm trying to dirty up my image because I'm trying to be accepted. I'm trying to be cool.
Yeah,
you know. So I played soccer. Like, we talked about our relationship, how we met. And, you know, the coaches that I've had, they've always said, hey, man, you should play soccer. You should go to this school. You should do this. You should do that. And I always kind of just shied away from it because the respect amongst my peers, amongst the people that I wanted validation from, they didn't really like.
They weren't really messing with soccer.
Yeah, that's what the geeks do, man. Yeah. That's what
that's what pushed me away from soccer, for real.
Yeah.
I was really good at it, but like the people I go hang out with, the people that I end up going to school with, they don't care.
Yeah.
I told people I was like the 14th best player in the state. Nobody cared. You playing soccer. Yeah. You tell somebody you the 14th best player in the state of football. Oh, you that guy.
Yeah.
In the community, you that guy.
Yeah.
So I feel you in that
Newspaper
space.
And all. Everybody knows.
Yeah. And that's what, as a kid, you looking for the validation, the celebration of who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. And this is where the memories that I was talking to you about. It's just like I'm like, as a kid, we don't have the language to really communicate and articulate what's really going on internally.
Yeah.
The feeling comes up. I like that. That is what I think cool is. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Whether it's good for you or not, if you know it's going to get you to a good destination or get you scholarships or whatever, you're not concerned about that. That stuff is not real right now. What's real is what's going on today.
Right.
You know? So yeah, man. So I guess another question is like, what is your relationship to winning? Like, I heard you say earlier that you said you've kind of always been a winner. You know, but like describe your relationship with winning from a kid.
I'll say that I started out as a winner.
Yeah.
Because at Sandtown, we was always in the championship, if not winning the championship. Baseball, we was always either in the championship or I was an all-star or whatever. But when I went to high school, and I didn't play football until I was a junior, so I was still playing soccer.
Yeah.
Man, I went a season with my first year at Westlake. We didn't win a game. And that blew my mind because M-Hotep, we up there winning, moving up in different divisions. But I went to Westlake and we didn't win a game. I'm like, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on. I would disrespect teammates and stuff because I'm like, I don't know how to be a leader when we winning, and I'm a freshman. When we losing.
That's what Kobe would do.
All right, man. So that was my idol. So I honestly, by the time I was a senior, we only had one winning season when I was at Westlake. It was my junior year, and we barely made the playoffs. First time in school history we made the playoffs, so that was great. I was back to like, all right, cool. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. And then my last year at Westlake, 0-10 again. But what I learned in my last season was how much that I could gain from being a loser. Like, to show up every day and to put out everything you have, almost knowing you're going to lose. That kind of builds a foundation of resilience. Of no matter what's going on, no matter how bad the situation is, I'm going to keep showing up. And then it also showed me that I could be going through this losing season, but I could be helping. I was a leader. I could be helping the next generation, the next guy behind me, the next class behind me, find their momentum to step into their winning season. And I saw that it probably took about 3 or 4 games into the season. I was like, man, we not a winning team. But when I leave here, I want these guys to be able to say that they learned and gained something from the time that they spent with me. And then that kind of took me into A&T. A&T was 0-27 when I got there. Lost 27 straight games. Mm-hmm. I'm stepping into a losing situation. But because I had already been a loser at Westlake, I knew what it took to like, all right, cool, we lost. We're losing. We're still losing. I don't care. I'm going to show up to the weight room. I'm going to show up to every class. I'm going to show up to every meeting. I'm going to show up to every practice, and I'm going to get everything I can out of it. And by the end of the time I left A&T, we had started to climb. But the same mentality of I'm trying to help the guys behind me as well understand what it takes to win. And when I left my class, we said we're going to lay the foundation. We know we're not the guys to win this championship. But the guys behind us, we're going to leave everything that we got and learn for them to get the fast forward to win. And it may have took 2 or 3 seasons, but A&T became perennial champions of the MEAC. I mean, I think they won 5 or 6 out of 7 years in a row after we left. So that's the mentality, that the relationship that I have with winning is like it's love-hate. I love to do it. I hate to lose, but I understand what the value that chasing the win and wanting to win can give you, even if you don't attain it. So don't just get lost in, I didn't win. There's meaning and purpose in that not winning to get you to your next win.
Yeah, and that takes a mature person to kind of get to that understanding, because essentially what you're saying is, even if I'm losing, I'm gaining skills along the way.
Right.
I'm gaining a growth in my awareness. I'm looking at what my weaknesses are, and throughout that season, I was working towards getting those things better.
Right.
So I developed as a person.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like, we can't really control, if you're on a team, you can't control all the wins that your team has.
Nope.
But you can control the wins that you have personally, So that is
you can control the relationship that you have.
Yeah.
You can control the vision that you have, and the discipline that you have even in the losing season. And if you can attain those to put in your toolbox, you're going to hear me say that a lot. No matter what arena you step in, people going to, feel that from you, but then you're going to be able to utilize and pull all those tools out and build whatever life you're trying to build.
Yeah.
So what's your relationship with winning?
Man, so my relationship to winning, so I'll say this. So the first sport that I ever played was swimming. Swimming. I did that when I was kindergarten, I believe. Kindergarten, first grade. Parents wanted me to learn how to swim. My dad, he doesn't know how to swim, and his best friend, when he was a kid, actually drowned in a swimming accident.
I feel like I remember you telling me that when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And funny thing about his friend, my dad said that was the fastest kid that he ever knew, because he would beat adults, like just races.
Yeah.
But he was, devastated when his friend died.
I bet.
Growing up, you got a kid, like, it's important for him to learn how to swim. He never learned how. So he put me in swimming. So I started swimming, and I was actually fairly decent at it. I actually got trophies in it.
Really?
Yeah. I got a couple trophies in it.
You know what? And real quick, what's really crazy is my parents put me in swimming, and this is the only sport I ever quit. And I quit because I was good. Oh, so wow. They put me in swimming, and then they was like, "You're better than all these kids. You go over there and swim 50 laps." I swam 50 laps by myself as like an 8-year-old.
You were feeling punished.
I felt like, yo, I don't want to be over here by myself doing this. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Dad, let's go back to basketball, baseball, something else. But I was good, so they was like, this is too slow for you or too rudimentary for you. We're gonna put you over there. But I was like, by myself for 45 minutes? Nah, I'm out. But go ahead.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I got a couple trophies out of it, you know. And I was like in kindergarten, first grade or whatnot. Then the next sport I played was track and field, you know. So I did that. And this was around 96 Olympics. I'll never forget it. Because in 96, that's when they came to Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
So that year I started running track because that's what was on TV.
A big thing. Yeah.
It was a big thing. So I ran track, and I'll never forget it. I did so first, I knew I was fast. I would run up against my classmates and also people who were older than me at that time, and I would beat them in races. So I was like, man, I'm destined. I'm the next Michael Johnson. Because he was good, or who else? Was it Carl Lewis was good during that time too, or
he might have been a little bit before that? But Michael Johnson, Otto Bolden, Maurice Green.
Yeah. I know specifically Michael Johnson. I remember him. So I was like, yeah, I'm the next him. You know, cocky, arrogant. So I'm out there doing track and field, and I remember my first race. My dad, he got me some tennis shoes. No, literally tennis shoes.
like you play tennis in.
Yes, that you supposed to play tennis in.
Yeah.
You know, he got me some tennis shoes that was like Spalding, something from like Kmart.
Yeah.
And he gave them to me to put on, and I hated them. They was like 2 or 3 sizes too big. They was white, and
Flop
it had
around.
a green bottom, a green sole, and he gave them to me.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I was so nervous. I put these shoes on, and I was getting ready for the 100 meter.
Yeah.
And I ran that, and I dusted everybody. And when I finished that race, I was like, where my medals at? You know, where my trophy at?
Like you saying.
I did. I ran like a couple of them. I don't think I ever lost a race then, but I was just always like, you know, where my medals and stuff at. And then around that time, I started learning about basketball.
Yeah.
And I started learning how, you know, people responded to it. You
right.
know?
Especially in our community.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I want to do that. So I joined the team with Coach Evertez.
Yeah.
You know, Coach Evertez is my coach. And I joined that team. And one fun fact about me, my birthday is October 21st. So I have a late birthday.
Yeah.
So I was always playing in the league that was kind of I was the youngest person on the team, but it was, I was always the youngest person on the team, and I couldn't really go down and play with the people who were in my age, not my age, but in my grade.
Because you were the oldest person in the grade.
I was the oldest person in my grade.
Right.
You know, so because of that, and, you know, I was new at playing basketball, didn't have no fundamentals. My coach would always give me the garbage minutes, and our team would win.
Yeah,
you know, our team was winning. We was getting trophies. We was going to Swanee.
Yeah, going to Swanee. Yep.
Yeah, getting trophies and things like that. But I didn't feel a part of the win.
Team. Yeah,
and I'll never forget those. I'll never forget how I felt when I got the garbage minutes, because and we talked about this earlier today, in our conversation, but. It's nothing like being the practice player or being one of the sorriest players on a team. And then when you finally get that moment to kind of showcase your skills, you kind of, you feel a lot of pressure. I got to show out.
Yeah, you know, I only got this little bit of time
to show out
do
so
everything.
That I can, so I can get more time. I can get the respect of my coach. He's like, oh, he's dope. You know, let me give him more time. Let me bump him up to 6-man, maybe starter.
Yeah.
But when I would get in, man, I would get so nervous. And I would never play the way I would play and beat Wallace. Practice. I would never play like that. You know, I would never play like that when I would be playing against Sharif Whitlow. You know, if you're watching, you know, when I was playing
a lot of pressure on yourself and in yourself.
Exactly, I would get in my head.
Yeah,
you know, and I would be missing like snowbirds, as my dad would call it, which are like layups.
Yeah,
like I would be doing things that I just wouldn't do. So starting off as a kid, my team would win.
Yeah.
But in terms of personal wins, in terms of living up to the expectation of who I think I was and who I wanted people to see me as, you know, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why my relationship with Wallace grew so much is because I felt like he was one of the very few people who could see the greatness in me. He was, you know, he saw me as great. Yeah. Not only did Wallace see me as great, his dad saw me as great.
Yeah.
You know, so I always, that was something that was special for me. And that was a reason why I really, you know, I hung around Wallace because he, you know, he saw the greatness in me, you know, when I felt like no one else really did.
Yeah.
You know,
and it was wild to me. I was like, y'all don't see this?
Yeah.
This 5'7" guy about to dunk on y'all? It was crazy. Like, when I tell you a freak athlete, the best athlete I've ever come across, and I didn't play NFL, college football. I didn't play in the CFL across the ocean. Not really, just across the border. Like, the best athlete pound for pound that I've ever seen is this man right here. And I cannot believe that the coaches couldn't see this. Yeah. I think Coach Keith on the soccer team could, but other than that, nobody else recognized what I'm like. I'm
Mr.
looking at this every day.
You know, soccer related,
soccer related. But I'm like, everybody else is missing that this dude is the fastest. He's the strongest pound for pound. He could jump the highest out of everybody on the team. Yeah. Can do backflips. Like, bro, what are y'all missing?
Remember I can do backflips? Yeah. I can still do backflips.
I can't. Never could. But that's what I saw. And I was like, and that's kind of what drew me to you. I was like, this guy, this amazing athlete, eventually amazing person, I want to be close to him because that's going to help elevate me. And that's what they tell you about keep your circles. The people that you keep in your circle are going to be really who you become. I wanted to be around you because I was like, this dude is going to elevate me at the leadership. Even if I'm never going to be better than him, he's going to elevate my game. And I'm cool with that challenge.
Yeah, man. So my relationship to winning personally, it created that the dark side, as Tim Grove says in the book, the dark side, which is that underdog energy of feeling just overlooked. Yeah. So, you know, the more that, you know, I kept getting rejected in this space, and to be honest, to just keep it funky, like, basketball was my first love, but she always rejected me. I never had a good relationship with her.
Yeah, you were a side piece.
Yes, I was her side. Nah, I wasn't even a side piece, man. I wasn't.
You never got a taste?
Yeah, she just flirted with me.
Yeah, that's it.
I never even got to touch.
You was the friend zone.
Yeah, she friend zoned me. She friend zoned me.
She did, bro.
Yes,
and look, you was working hard to get her
and
too.
I was working hard, but I was too nice to her, man. Yeah, I should have been dogging her out, man.
No.
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, we talk about basketball.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, that's the perfect. She friend zoned me.
Yeah.
You know? So my relationship to basketball, I always had this underdog energy to me.
Right.
And to be honest, I think it's good to kind of have that. It's good to kind of have that feeling of I gotta prove. Cause to me, the way it worked is, even though I never got in the position that I wanted to, man, it had me getting up early in the morning.
Right.
You know, it had me studying and paying attention to details like crazy. It had me, you know, just doing things normally that I wouldn't do. And along the way, like Wallace said, you're developing skills. I was developing a lot of skills, like just going back and looking at how much energy that I put towards basketball. And, you know, some people could look at it disheartened and say, you know, that was a waste of time. But what it showed me looking at it today is, man, I had that fight in me. I had
this
that
is
fire.
In you, bro. This is in you.
I had this, and if I use that in another area,
right,
I could be steadily building something great,
right.
Man. I was willing to do whatever, you know, to get that. But a big thing that I learned just from, and I'm not even going to blame the game, but one thing that I did learn about myself is there was a lot of doubt. You know, there was a lot of questioning, you know, do I deserve to be here? You know, and just I wasn't able to kind of validate myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's a skill.
That's tough to do.
That's a skill, and I think it takes maturity to kind of get to that point. You got to go through some things to kind of learn how to affirm yourself,
right,
and be confident in that. But yeah, man, when I would get out there on that court, even though I was putting in so many hours, I was putting in so many shots, I would get in the game, and that same little kid that I was playing in that YMCA would show up when I was an adult. And at that time, I didn't know how to tame the energy. I didn't know how to move the energy. I just was present in this fear zone.
Yeah.
And I would accept it, you know? And then after I didn't perform, there was a lot of guilt. There was a lot of shame that I was experiencing, you know, because it was just like, damn, like, what's wrong? Like, why aren't you, you know? So I was like a practice player.
Right.
You know?
A practice squad All-American.
Yeah, I was a practice squad All-American. People loved me.
But see, what people don't realize, because initially when I went to A&T, that's what I fell into, because I would kill in practice and then have like a mediocre game, 4 catches, 32 yards, something like that. But you have to almost be trained to deal with the moment of the game. And especially when you haven't been given a lot of game opportunities. Like, it's different to be out in front of, look, even a high school game, 5,000 people. In a college game, 30,000 people in the stands. It's different than you at practice, and the only people out there is your teammates. So you have to be trained and given the opportunity to grow in that space. So kids that...
But what I will say is the difference is it's okay to... amongst the team, it's okay to make mistakes.
It's okay to make mistakes amongst the team and in front of 30,000 people.
It is, but... I guess in our minds, and you can tell me your experience, but in our minds, in practice, it's like it's low stakes. It's like, you know, and that's how we rationalize it. Even though it might be the same as the game. Yeah. But in the game, it's like maybe you want to score a certain amount of points. Maybe you need to show you're consistently producing at a certain level so that I can get to this level or get a scholarship or go to this type of school. Yeah. And those things can be an illusion. It can be an illusion. You're putting that pressure on yourself.
Illusions can be helpful, though.
Yeah, illusion can be helpful. But what I'm saying is I am creating added pressure that doesn't have to be there.
So I think there's 2 ways to get there. And I don't know how to get to the second way. So the first way is I would try to make the pressure in my mind of practice to kind of get close to what it was in the game. So I try to create the pressure that game day is going to bring in my own head on, hey, it's 3rd down and 15. I got to get 16 yards, come back down. Oh, this is a game-winning catch. I tried to create that pressure. So when I got to the game, I'm used to it. The other way is you don't care about pressure at all. Nothing affects you. I don't know how to get to that space. So what I tried to do was, all right, my team needs this many yards for me this game, this many catches. I'll be in practice counting my yards. I got to get 100 yards, or the NFL scout's not going to see me. I got to do this, or this not going to happen. Or I got to be the guy in front of the line on every play. I got to run down the field the fastest to get a scholarship. I would put pressure on myself, knowing when game day comes, I don't want to feel the pressure. Because I didn't have the opportunity in high school to be out there and get used to the crowd, the noise, and all of that stuff. So when I got out there, it was like, oh, shit, everything is bubbling. So I was like, all right. If I felt this way in the game, how can I feel this way in practice?
So you're saying what you did was you were mentally preparing yourself at all times. You were creating high stakes
at all times. In practice. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I would say this is the game winning play. I gotta make it, and it could be the second play in practice. This is the game winning play. Or I know this team runs this coverage, but if I can beat them on this route, then the team is gonna be successful because they're gonna shift the coverage. Like, I'd be playing that mind game in my head as I'm going to practice, as I'm lining up. And then when I got to the game, I was more prepared for the moment. It's still not the same, but I brought it closer. So it wasn't as anxiety-ridden when I got out there. Mm-hmm. And to me, I can see when you haven't had a whole lot of opportunities in the game to really feel like the real presence of the game, and then you step out there with I just work hard in practice. I do this really good. I focus on these fundamentals. You don't add that factor into it, and then it makes it tough to really perform how you're able to perform with the stakes being so high. Well, the perceived stakes being so high.
So I like what you're saying. You're not saying get rid of the stakes.
No.
So you're saying acknowledge the truth of what's really going on.
Yeah.
You know, but if I am able to convince myself, even through practice in all situations, that, you know, I need to be performing at the highest level, then when it actually comes, it's not foreign.
It's not overwhelming for you.
Yeah, it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember specifically running this comeback in practice. And I had run a comeback in a game that I ran a pretty bad route. The quarterback threw a bad ball, and the DB intercepted it. And that ended up losing us the game. That was the end of the game. So from that point on, every time I ran a comeback in practice, this is it. If we don't complete this play, then we're going to lose this game. And I just perfected the comeback route. That was my drive. Every time, nobody in front of me run a comeback. I got to make this play because that's what ended the game 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And they talk about Michael Jordan used to create these things in his mind to give him. You got to sometimes create the reality for yourself. Because your reality is your perception is your reality. So I would create perceptive things that would help drive me to focus. Because that was the biggest thing is, can you maintain your focus when everything else is going around, when the pressure is mounting? And that's what is crazy. The one word my dad would say every day, no matter if he was sick in bed, if I went out of school early before he woke up, somehow in the day he was going to tell me, focus. And that's what we all got to find in our moments, opportunities, is find the focus. Yeah. And then you're going to find the success in it. It might not be today, but it will be down the line if you continue to focus.
Yeah, those are good points, man.
Well, thank you, sir.
Those are really good points. Got me thinking. So the story. Do you think every great, let's just say winner, to become a winner, you have to have some type of experience with losing?
Definitely.
Or some type of story with losing do you believe that makes a great winner?
I believe that makes you even have a chance to be a winner.
Okay.
I think if you've never lost, then you're not really a winner. Because even practice, you're going to lose. In a game, you're going to lose. You think about, let's stick with the book, Michael Jordan. When he was 15 years old, got cut from a team he had been training for. It's not like he just popped up off the street. He had been training to be on this team, got cut. Like that experience of losing drove him to spend a whole nother year preparing for the opportunity, which propelled him to, and everything he learned in that journey to get ready for the next season, propelled him to be the guy that we see on sneakers and everywhere, and everybody says he's the greatest basketball player. So to me, until you've lost, you really can't see how great of a winner, really can't be a winner. And it, like I said, it could be in practice. Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls, but Tom Brady has lost a whole lot that you might not have seen. And that's what creates the winner that you see, because he knows if I don't do these specific things to help me prepare for this game, I'm going to lose. And I hate losing. So the losing is driven him to be the winner that he is. And to me, in my life, like, I'm not an NFL Hall of Famer. I'm not whatever, the greatest thing you could think of as an athlete. But the losing that I've suffered allowed me to attain some of the successes, all the successes I've attained in sports. And then, like I said at the beginning, I learned a lot of life through sports. So a lot of the things that I've learned and won and attained in life is because I've lost in sports and in life. Shoot, you take a relationship. You can fail in a relationship, but if you learn how you failed or why you failed, what you could have done better, the next one should be better if you take those lessons away with you.
I agree I do agree with that. I do think that you have to experience a certain amount of losses, but there also has to be a idea that I can potentially win at this. You know, I think there is a point where you can suffer too many losses to where it's just like, it's
not it.
This is demoralizing.
Yeah.
I don't think that I can do this.
I think that's what the book Winning was missing for us.
Yeah.
It was, I think you got to find the lane for you.
Yeah. Cause
like, yeah, I can, losing in football is great. At practice, losing, cool, you lost. But if that's not your lane, then you probably gonna lose every day. You're not gonna put everything that you need to put into it to win. And if you continue to get those losses without putting the resilient spirit to find a way to win, you're not really gaining the tools that you need. You're just there taking a beating. So I think it's valuable for us to go out and search out and find our lanes. And then when you find your lane, that's what I go out and talk to kids, is like, find what you feel like is for you and chase it. When you get to the end of that road, it might not be for you, but when you started, you felt like it was. And that'll give you the fire, desire, and fuel to get up and chase it every day. When you got the fire, desire, and fuel, you can learn the lessons along the journey. Yeah. But if you don't have the fire and you just doing something because somebody else told you to do it, you're probably not going to get everything you can from it. Yeah. But and like I said, as life goes on, our purposes, our cores, they change, they evolve. But right now, if I chase after what I'm going after, I can learn everything that's going to take to get there. Might not get it. And as I evolve, I've got these tools already because I pushed and woke my ass up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I also think that to add to that, winning is a perspective, because it doesn't really matter what's going on in the outside world. If I'm able to kind of level set and figure out what the little small wins are, and if I can get progressive and be consistent with that, you're kind of setting the bar. Yeah. And I think that's very important, because it's real easy to get lost in what everybody else is doing. It's very easy to go and see my man over here, in my life, my man over here, he's starting. It seems like when he's in the game, he always drops 20 points a game. Yeah. Everybody loves him. I need to do that or better in order for that to be a success. Yeah. But if I'm able to go and recognize first, I'm not that good at my ball handling. Yeah. I need to get that good, because, if I'm going to be on the court, I'm going to be the man handling the rock. I got to be solid there. Yeah, to start. Yeah. I also know that, I probably need to put up a few more shots, or I'm not good in this area. Being self-aware of what it is that you don't have in order and the areas that you need to improve in, and begin to work on that, then you can begin to see your wins, because you have to be able to see where you're making progress. Right. I don't think you can stay in a space too long and not see progress and want to continue to stay there. So if your goal,
if you putting it in, if you putting in the effort,
but
if you're not putting in the effort, then you probably won't see the progress.
The point that I'm trying to make is, where's your attention? If your attention 100%. If your attention is the same as somebody else, if your attention is, I'm not great until I'm,
20 points a game,
20 points, 50% from field goal, 90 from, and you're not even close to that, and that's what you keep comparing in your mind every single day, I don't know how much of that your mind is going to be able to take, 100%. Especially if you don't see progress. But if you're like, okay, today, I shot 100 free throws and I made 60. Yeah. And I've been consistently do this at the end of the month. I want to see where I am.
That's that 0.0001% getting better.
Yeah.
And I think you started the podcast today off with a great point. It's like this week was reflective for you. You got to be able to reflect on yourself. All right, last week I was trash. This week, like in my story, it was a time I first started playing football and I lined up against this kid AD. And AD took me from Westlake. Yeah. AD jammed me up, took me over and sat me next to the water cooler and pretty much said, "Chill out, young fella." The next time I lined up against AD, it didn't happen. I don't know if I did anything different, but in my mind, I got a little bit better where he didn't take me to the sideline. Then the next time I got a release and he actually had to cover my route. I'm like, all right, cool. I got a little bit better on my release. Then the next time, and over time, it just progressed till I got a catch. You lost every route up to this point, 15, 20 routes to get one catch. But every little piece to get closer to that catch is what I was valuing, what my awareness was. Everybody else saw me get jammed up the second time. I didn't get off the line. But I didn't end up on the water cooler. Then the next time I saw, oh, shoot, I got into my route. The next time I saw the little things. And I think that's a great point that you made. But it starts from the reflection and where's your attention in that reflection.
Yeah. Being able to see progress is necessary.
Yeah.
And being able to have the right perspective on what your progress is necessary too. I like that example. And I read the book, so I know that AD, you consider him to be better than you, the best receiver.
He was probably the best DB in the state of second best because Eric Berry can't let Eric Berry out. But he went
to Tennessee, right?
Yeah. AD was probably the second best DB in the state of Georgia at that time.
And so you were able to see your progress accelerated because you're testing yourself up against what you would consider the second best DB in the state. And
I kept losing.
You kept losing, but you were still noticing little things.
Yep.
You were noticing, I believe I read in the book, you were noticing that you were making him kind of question certain things. Like you were making him kind of stumble, and it was kind of like the Rocky mentality where he just kept getting up after he was getting knocked down.
That was me. I was a sucker for pain. That's what I told myself.
You were willing to go through that.
Yep.
And that can wear on somebody. And you kind of seeing that and notice your own progress. You're like, I could do this.
Yeah.
If I'm hanging, and you might be barely hanging, but if I'm hanging with who I think is the best, then I got a chance.
Yeah.
But it's just being able to have that perspective to be able to look at your progress in the right way. And I know that's difficult because when we want to, when we want our abilities to be at a certain place, it's like, I need it now. Yeah, I need it now. And then there's expectations. And if y'all are anything like us, y'all believe that you're great. You're ambitious. I can do anything. I can do all things. And then, not to be able to perform at that level, it can affect you. But the only way you can get better is if you're focusing on those things, your weaknesses, and making it, what is it, 0.0001% better? Or what was it, the Habits book that we read?
Yep, same concept.
What do you say, like a percent better each day or something like that? But same concept, just
same
trying
concept.
to become a little bit better every single day.
Yeah.
But the only way you can do that is you got to know yourself. Who, where am I now? Count inventory.
Yeah.
So
count inventory. I like that.
Yeah. So today, you being 32 years old, what's winning to you today?
Winning today.
How would you define it? Or what's it looking for Wallace?
I don't honestly think I have what's a win look like today, because
you got something.
I don't. I really feel like I'm in this space of like the grind. Like I know I got goals, but I don't know what, like even attaining those goals is that winning to me anymore. So to me, I don't even know if it's like the goal is to win. It's just like continue to grow. And I feel like because I've seen how my goals and aspirations can change over time. Like I know when I get to whatever goal I've already set now, it's gonna be different when I get there. So like my mindset, I guess winning for me is continuing to grow. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Like growth is the only thing that really catches my attention right now. If I'm not growing, they say if you're not growing, then you dying. I'm trying to grow in every aspect of my life. I'm open to being told I'm wrong. I'm open to failing. I'm open to whatever it takes to help me grow till tomorrow.
You're open to seeing all the truths in the mirror.
Yeah, open to it. Call me out. I'm straight. Because at the end of the day, that's where some real growth. Like we used to watch film. You can run a great route, but until you watch film and critique it, break it down, tell me how not good it was, then I can see the details. I can get better. But if you don't, I'm just gonna think I ran a great route. When really, you could have got better leverage. You could have snapped your head around quicker. You could have pumped your arms to get out faster. Those little details of breaking it down into critiques, still a great route. But how can I get better? I can take it.
Man, you actually said what I was going to say, but just in a different way. So, yeah, it is growth. But I would say a win for me is connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's a win for me. And I'll get more into detail on that. And becoming more self-aware. Right now, I don't know what it is. Today, this year, it's just been a mystical time where I've just been learning a lot about myself, and it's been a lot of difficult things to swallow, and it's also been refreshing, because once you learn the truth, it's like, well, what are you gonna do? Now you have a real decision to make. You can make some change when you know certain things. So self-awareness is something that I am practicing. I'm training myself to do. Earlier this week, I took a Skillshare course about journaling.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading a lot just about, how to conflict resolutions, the books that we read, for the book club or whatnot. And I've just been hearing or learning that I'm emotionally running from certain things in life.
Yeah.
And in that course that I was telling you about that I took on Skillshare, one of the things that the instructor was asking us to write about was like, what do you like? And I was stumped on that question because it's like, what do I like? I don't even pay attention enough to myself to even know what I like. Like, as a child, I knew certain things that I like. I loved. It's nothing like the end of school and going on the playground, that blacktop, to go and play basketball with them Kansas, University of Kansas basketballs. You remember those that we had? The college basketballs?
Like, where we get these from?
I don't know. Mr. Rosenberg,
he found
those. But we used to, it was nothing like that. It was just so much joy. We never got let out soon enough to go out there and play on that basketball court.
Yeah.
Even for lunch, there were sometimes we would just go out there and just play. Yep. That was pure fun.
Yeah.
But since then, since I've been an adult, I haven't been paying attention to what is it that I like, what is it that I don't like. I'm trying to get to know who am I.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've been doing recently is, I've just been taking a note in my app of things that might have affected me.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I went over to my parents' house and we were watching, what TV show is that? Is it Alice in Borderland? I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Mm.
It's kind of like, what is that movie, that TV show that just came out, where the people were in this game? It was over in, I believe, Korea.
I know what you're talking about.
Can't think of it right now, but it's kind of very similar to that.
Yeah.
But this show is called Alice in Borderland. So I was watching it, and my dad came in, and he just started asking me questions about my business. Like, I'm watching TV, and I was like, damn, I hate it when people ask me random questions when my focus is on TV.
Yeah.
But another thing, I was, so I started a book club, and I'll get into more of it at the end of the show, but I started a book club and I built this relationship with the librarian out here in Atlanta, and she called me Cuomo. That really pissed me off that she called me Cuomo. But in a nutshell, what I'm trying to do is I'm taking inventory of the things that are bothering or affecting me, whether it's good or bad. What is it that I like? What is it that I don't like? So that I can begin to address them. So I'll take note of them. And then at the end of the night, I'll go through the list, because these are like writing prompts. Yeah. And I'll go take one of them, and then I'll begin to kind of journal about it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not journaling for the sake of just to, kind of emote and just say, I really didn't like this. And not to talk down on anybody who does do that.
I'm about to say, I think that's part of some of therapy, but you have a different purpose.
I'm not trying to talk down on that, but I guess what I call myself trying to do is to acknowledge that I feel a certain type of way and maybe talk about what it is, and then try to get to a point to where I can either embrace that emotion and be able to, find some peace, find some solid ground. What can I do? What can my next response be? Because what I'm learning about energy is if you don't address it and you keep letting these thoughts rattle off in your head, it can drive you to certain vices.
Yeah.
You can get addictions. You can become dependent on certain things, whether that's relationships to people, whether that's drugs, whether that's alcohol, whether that's sex. It can drive you to certain things. So,
idle time.
Yeah, because we're all trying to get to a level of peace in our life. And if you're always in a stressful
we
place,
should be trying to, because everybody doesn't.
But I think a basic drive in everyone is we want peace. And if you're not getting peace, that's when you go and self-indulge or indulge in these different vices and things like that.
So you would say peace looks different for a lot of people? Because I know a lot of people that look for the argument. It doesn't, or look for the chaos. Is that peace in their mind?
Well, I guess
I know a lot of people like that.
Okay, so well, then I guess this will come down to how you define what peace is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the way that I define peace is something that may have once affected you, you have consciously brought it internally. We're talking about internally. You have consciously brought it down to a that vibration or whatever those feeling is. You brought it back down to zero. You brought it back down neutral. Mm-hmm. So now you don't have that reaction, that internal reaction anymore. You brought it to peace, back to zero. But how would you define peace?
My mind went to even, bringing it even, and then I keep hearing this term from this guy named DeMarco Mitchell, who's developing into a mentor of mine. Mm-hmm. Is like your ego, being able to grab hold of it. So now being able to grab hold of all the emotions that come up, that try to spout up. So you're sitting here even, and something afflicts you and something shoots up. Can I grab whatever that feeling is and bring myself back to zero?
Yeah.
To keep the peace inside of me. Cause I can let my anger shoot off. I can let my ego shoot off. I can let my sadness shoot off. But can I be aware that, my sadness is shooting off? Let me grab that and understand why that even triggered my sadness, or why it even triggered my anger. That's the peace that I define. I don't think everybody defines it that way, but that's for me.
Yeah, and that's that. And you were given a point about some people enjoy the conflict or to argue and things like that. And I would say, if you ask me, I'm one of those people who enjoys arguing. And, I won't say arguing, but I enjoy a good debate.
Right.
Which also stems from like our upbringing. Like I enjoy the conflict on some level.
Yeah.
But I even had to kind of address that in myself. And I know that the reason why I enjoy that, especially from a communication standpoint, is because I grew up in an environment like that.
Yeah.
Like my dad, he enjoys debate. He enjoys having those type of conversations. Me and my brother, we have those type of conversations. And because my mom is in that environment, she knows how to talk that talk too. Yeah. So when I get out in public and I'm dealing with other people, that is a default to me. Yeah. To where I feel like I feel comfortable there.
Yeah. This is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, how do I feel when that's taken away? I have to have a normal dialogue with somebody. And I don't get to, talk about just things people want me to talk about myself.
Yeah.
Which goes back to a win to me, connection. Like my whole life, as I explained in the beginning, I have been conscious of blocking people away from things that I felt were close or intimate or, close to me.
Yeah.
And today I'm learning that I need to begin to embrace those things. Mm-hmm. Because I think that the way that we are able to connect with others is, and when we acknowledge the different pain points that we've had, we're able to see other people. We're able to see, I'm able to see your pain before you even tell it to me. I'm able to
Really?
Yeah, because it's like this. Like if a person has gone through depression, or let's just talk about your journey through football. I'm pretty sure you might not identify with the guy who was on the star on the team. You might identify more with somebody who, you can kind of see they got a little bit of talent, but you know that they got the will to want to be great at that. So that person might not be popular amongst the football team, but you might see him and understand his story and be able to communicate with him. He don't even really got to tell you. You just know that story already. And that's what I'm saying. Like when you begin to address, your life and the different issues that you've gone through, I'm able to look at the world with a certain amount of empathy.
Yeah.
And I'm able to kind of see things before you even reveal it to me.
Right.
Because I know that story.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Definitely. And I think that when you were talking, I'm like, because I can relate to the guy, the superstar, and the guy at the bottom that nobody sees. And I went and actually volunteered in my high school last year, and I saw that. I was like, I gravitated to these guys who I know nobody's paying any attention to.
Yeah.
But I also was able to gravitate and earn the respect of the superstars on the team.
Yeah.
Because I've lived both lives.
Exactly. But that's what self-awareness it allows you to do. It allows you to address and bring things to peace inside of you. And I believe the reason why we experience adversity is so that helps us to be able to relate to others.
Yeah.
Your struggle allows you to relate to others because in this world, we're all going through the human experience. Mm-hmm. We're all going through a lot of different things. So if you were able to overcome, or if you're dealing with something, I can then be able to talk to you about those certain things. People who, you may consider as having a silver spoon or never gone through anything, it's hard to relate to them. Because it's like, oh, you was given this.
Everything.
You know, somebody just in a sports analogy, oh, you were, you were always accepted. You were always first picked.
Right.
I had to earn this.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling.
Different mentality.
It's just
man.
Like somebody who was a trust fund baby versus somebody who
got it out the mud.
Yeah. And not to say that the person who's a trust fund baby can't take it to the next level, but if you're just doing nothing but just sitting on this money, people might have a hard time trying to relate to that because it's like, I had to work my ass off to get this.
Yeah.
So I think we go through adversity and struggle so that we can be able to relate. That's something that's common amongst everybody. Everybody's going to struggle in some ways. And also what I've learned is once you've gone through a struggle, you don't necessarily have to relate exactly to the same struggle that's, let me see if I can word it right. Once you've gone through a struggle, somebody else doesn't have to have the exact same struggle as you in order for you to relate to them.
Because you can relate to struggle.
Yes, you can relate to struggle. You know that, hey, this was hard for me. Yeah. So that might not be my thing, but if he's going through it like I was going, I understand that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm kind of moving towards. It's like, as I'm going through my life, I'm, there's been a time where it's like, man, that's simple, Yeah. That's my immature self, my childlike mind, just kind of casting judgment on certain things. But as I become an adult, it's like, man, if that's tough for you, I understand what that feels like.
Yeah.
I understand what it feels like being lost in whatever your hell is and thinking like I can't get out.
So at the end of this, what do you take away from this book, Winning? We started in this book, and that's why I kind of love the concept of this book club, but then podcast, is because we start at a source that kind of gets your mind going, the book. And then we went on this 65 different direction tangent, but still gaining value in the conversation and the connection. But from this conversation and from reading this book, what's one action item that you can take home and tell the people about?
Well, one action item that I can take away from this is this book to me represented more self-reflection. As I told you when I started off, a lot of memories were flooding me as I was reading this book, and just this month period. And in those memories, it was just a reminder of getting to know myself. So one thing that I'm going to do from this point on, and it may not be something that I got specifically out of this book, but I'm going to be taking inventory of the things that are affecting me, and I'm going to be taking note of them, because I want to address my weak points, and I want to be at peace with them and possibly make them my strengths.
Yeah.
So and that's something that I'm aggressive about. That's where that tenacity, that that relentlessness, that energy is going to be going to that. It's nothing like the feeling of growth. Here is something else, and I don't want to keep mentioning, but so growth to me, and this is just something small. So as a kid, even to this day, a fear of mine is like dancing in public. I am not a good dancer. Like, I just, I see people, like, I have a love for music, you know, and, when I'm by myself, I do my whatever I do.
You did a little two-step, your little vibe. Yeah.
Man, I be doing some other stuff, man. But I be doing me, but like, I've always, in the back of my mind, I've always had this fear just like dancing out in public. And
being free to be seen, man.
Yeah, man. And I never forget, I saw Wallace at his wedding, man. Mr. Twinkle Toes. This man was killing it. Him and his mom, y'all should have seen the son, mother-son dance. Yeah. Man, Wallace was out there killing it, man. And I was looking at that. I was like, dang, man, I want to know how to do that, man.
And look, I can't say I'm the best dancer, but I just let it go, man.
Yeah. But a win in that regard would be, when I go out to a party, I just dance and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Take the pressure off myself and just do what I want to do, what feels natural to me. And that's a win.
Look, that's grabbing hold of that anxiety that you feel when you go out, pulling it back and just being free, being your peace.
Yeah, man. But back to, something that I would take away or I would apply in my life, from this book. And that's just the same aggression that Kobe and Michael and all the greats that he interviewed in that book, that same aggression, that same tenacity, the relentlessness that they had towards their craft of basketball and being the greatest. I want to have that same tenacity in terms of developing myself, because it really feels great to overcome different battles that you've had.
Yeah. And
it also feels even better to take those solutions and share them with somebody else who's in need. That's like the ultimate feeling, to help somebody else in need. Look, that they've been racking their brain.
It's funny. That's the whole reason I started my company, Change Your Cleats. That's the whole reason I wrote the book, is because everything I went through, I know that there's going to be somebody coming behind me that needs to have this understanding before they even step into it. I learned it after the fact or during the fact. I want them to be able to have grasp of it before the fact. So when you step in it, I got the awareness, I got this. I can handle this. I can overcome this. Instead of being in it and being overwhelmed and anxiety filled, and like, you know what? I'm out. When I can kind of show you like, yo, you can get through this. Just continue to push, continue to show up, continue to show out. It's there for you.
Yeah. So what's one thing that you would, I forget how you worded it, one thing that you would apply after reading this book, or one thing that you would take away?
One thing for me is, it's something I feel like I had when I was younger, but I want to get back. It's accepting the dark side. Like, it took me a while to kind of grasp what he was really getting at, but I want to accept that more in my life, and accept that, like, it don't have to be.
Wait. Explain what the dark side is, so people who don't really understand, what does dark side mean to you?
To me, the dark side is that inner person or outer person that is with you, that tells you things, that tells you to do or asks you to do or pushes you to do things that may be outside of the status quo. The status quo, your comfort zone, that can help you become great. Because there's a fear tied to what that dark side is asking you to do, but then there's also the the thought of not being the person that other people that you want other people that you think you want other people to see. So to me, my issue, a part of my issue that I see is like I'm an appeaser. Like I sacrifice some of the things that I want to do and be for other people's comfort, for my comfort. And I want to just to go ahead and say, accept it, bro. You got a dark side and it's valuable to you, and use it. At the same time, you got to learn, and it'll be a process of learning to manage that dark side because it's not needed every instance. But accept that it's there and that it's valuable to you, that you can use it, you can grow from it, and it can help you become the person that you say you want to be, instead of just like, I'm a good guy, it should happen. Nah, sometimes it take you to get down and dirty, and it's cool.
Yeah. Man, you said a mouthpiece. Like, being a good guy can become a prison.
Yeah.
Like, once people have labeled you as
the good guy,
as the good guy, it can be hard to break that.
Right.
Because then people, and I guess it comes down to, who are you listening to? Are you listening to the outside, or are you listening to the dark side inside of you, or the inner voice?
Yeah.
You know, but when you are consistently listening to what other people's expectations of you, when you do decide to even let me do something different, you know, you might become a little bit self-conscious. Oh, they gonna say this, or, you know, they might come back, that's not you. And, you know, it's just like, you know, I'm being myself. But it goes back to what you were telling me about, you know, dancing, which is just, you know, being able to control that anxiety, you know, put a hold onto it and just, you know, listen to you. And a large part of why I think this podcast is like good for me is because it's a practice of being authentic. It's a practice of being vulnerable. It's a practice of being self-deprecating. You know, all those different things are kind of needed so that I can become the man that I want to be. Yeah. I'm not living according to my parents' rules, you know, my friends' expectations,
society's expectations.
I'm doing these things because this is who I identify with. Right. You know, this is what I think is great. You know, sometimes, you know, it might, you know, I'm not gonna get to that, but yeah, this is what I think is great. Yeah. So yeah, man.
That's what I take from it.
You got any last words, man?
The only thing I got is, man, read a book twice. Because there's the first time is, for me, it's always content, and then the second time is connection. And I think there's even more value in a book through the connection of it. It's kind of hard for me to read it, understand it, and then feel it when I read it the first time. So the second time normally brings a different kind of connection to the content. And that's what happened. That's what's happening as I read it the second time.
Yeah. I respect that. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna close out the podcast. But before we end it, I want to let everybody know, if you do want to, if you're here in Atlanta, first and foremost, if you're here in Atlanta and you would like to join a book club, I have a book club called Just 10 Pages, just like the podcast, but it's just 10 pages. And the basic premise is just like this show. I try to put together a list of books that I think would be thought-provoking, and have brothers, because it is a men's book club, have the brothers to come in and talk about the book, but we share ourselves and what's going on in our life through the lens of the book. You know, I know for myself, it's difficult to talk about, you know, what's really going on in my mind sometimes. And I try to create a safe space so, you know, guys can talk about those things. And it's not even all deep and heavy and sad and somber. It's fun. You know, like I said, it's an opportunity to talk about what's going on with you, and, you know, and be able to laugh. That's something that I'm learning how to do, how to, you know, like a comedian, talk about the different struggles you might have had and be able to laugh about it. So,
I can't wait to watch. She friends on me.
Oh yeah, she friends on me, man.
That was hilarious,
she
bro.
friends on me, man. Yeah. But you gotta, I mean, it takes a certain amount of awareness and maturity to get to the point to acknowledge the truth. Yeah. You know, if that was a joke that somebody like Wallace would have made when I was a kid, man, we would have been fighting, man. We would have been fighting. I wasn't trying to hear that
at all.
You know, but Anyway, if you're trying to join the book club out here in Atlanta, go follow the page, Just 10 Pages on Instagram. Shoot me a DM or type something under one of the posts that I have that you're interested, and we'll connect. But I think this is a great show, man.
I agree, brother.
I really enjoyed the conversation, and until next time, man.
Until next time, man. Read y'all 10 pages.
10 pages.
All right.